Hi. I finally have a moment where I can record some readings. Um, Hopefully, any noises in the background he won't be picking up too much. Okay, I wanted to look and see if Elon is torching his own vehicles for insurance. And this is something that's going around. This is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. Is Elon torching the Teslas that he cannot sell in order to recover losses? I mean, the point's been made that if he's willing to hire, uh, you know, game players to play for him as him, just so he looks good, it makes sense that this is something he could be probably capable of. Just want to see what the cards have to say if he's actually maybe doing that. Let's see what we get. Yes, no? Is Elon behind the torching of his cars that aren't selling so that he could recover through insurance? Is he doing that actively? Is he behind it? Well, I'm getting the justice card. Hmm. I wonder if that means that there will be legal looking into it. It maybe at some point. And it is seeking recovery. Yeah, I think he is using the system right here. It's like, so, to help himself. And here we have the wealthy person that should be helping those that are, it looks like to me like he is taking advantage of that um, legal loophole. But it's really not a legal loophole because it's illegal to do that if he's doing that. But it sure looks like these cards represent, to me, it looks like trying to recover through, yeah, through means that are thought, looked at as legal. We're getting the Wheel of Fortune because his fortune, frankly, has taken a turn for the worse, and he's going through a hard cycle. And that's paired with the Hermit. This is also a time of him. I think he's going to become quite possibly reclusive, more reclusive. Um, but what else? This also looks to me like people looking into it with on a maybe quiet but deeper uh level. I really do feel that with these two cards, especially because the Justice card looks like there's a quiet detective looking into, I think, some of this. There might be somebody that's decided to do it not trusting. Maybe some of, especially in the foreign countries where it's happening. Um, we see standing and fighting from one's corner, but getting rather tired with the Nine of Wands. Sorry, of course they have to bring out the weed whacker. Um, King of Swords. I think this is looking to Trump to fight for him, to help him, also with people, encouragement of people to buy those vehicles, which is illegal. He's not supposed to be pushing any kind of product, but I get a King of Pentacles. I believe like this is the business side paired with theft. And yes, the Seven of Swords. Um, it's improper business practices. It's someone abusing you know, I think law for their business. And to me, this King of Swords, along with the Nine of Wands, that's kind of battered, I think is probably Trump. Um, but also the insurance. And I think that there's somebody within the insurance that might want to quietly look into this to make sure, especially if he's not well liked. There might be places that are willing, I feel like, to hire someone to look more closely into it, to investigate it quietly with like the Hermit, the Knight of Wands. This is going from this theft with the King of Pentacles, um, toward active with the vehicles, the Knight of Wands with the vehicles. And note that it's fire as well. This is a sign of fire, the Knight of Wands. And it's falling right next to this sleazy, I think, businessman that's willing to push and try to use the means to get the insurance, to pay for this. And I do think that they will be looking into whether or not they can prove some way that he might be behind this. It does look like that because it's a lot of money. And there is agreement with the insurance, that you have, that if something goes amiss, but there's also those partnerships that he has and those are his businesses to me. And that this is a business move, and it's a business move that's worth a lot of money for both players, both Elon, I think, and the insurance company. And it makes me wonder again. I think that there's somebody there at least one place, especially because I was shown that Hermit. I thought it was him pulling back, and he might a bit. But I also feel like I said, I feel like this is somebody that's resistant, maybe a little, and that is looking. Maybe it's just your average people looking into this a little bit more, but I think it could also bring a decision to look into it, maybe by the insurance that would have to pay him out. Okay. Oh, look, there's the devil. There is the I think that they'll be looking into this and looking into who's guilty, who is guilty of the vandalism, and who is doing criminal activity and also causing chaos himself. And the Fool. That tells me that I think that they would be able to expose him with this, at some point. It may not be terribly difficult to link him up to it. Um, the Devil and the Fool. The thing is that he's like oblivious. He doesn't care, in a sense, but he's also living in La La Land. He really is. And I think because of his cocktail ingestion of what he does, that makes his eyes bounce around at, um, the inauguration and all that, and other things where he's interviews where he can't articulate himself in a sensible fashion. I mean, most of us stutter or something, but this guy's out to lunch, and he's just really being blatantly criminal as well here. There's blatant criminality, and it's foolish and it's sloppy. He doesn't care. It's chancing your arm, as, they say in the UK, um, literally. And I think it's going to backfire. There is suffering here. There's causing suffering. It's causing further divide, and it's hidden. There's something secretive. Oh, maybe there's some. Oh, okay. Now this is interesting. as hidden mental illness, quite possibly, and possibly other physical health issues. I know that wouldn't be terribly shocking to anyone because clearly that's obvious to most of us witnessing this horrendous show of what can we get away with in absolute um, don't care, devil may care. And here, this could be, to me, hidden serious illness. And often with these swords, it can be mental health. It can also be linked to cardiovascular health with the heart here and respiratory, breathing. So lungs, heart would be accented as well as possibly having issues mentally. No, you don't say. Yeah, I do say. This is looking at plans, looking at how one's track record. It feels like records to me, quite possibly. And it's financially based. It's the Seven of Pentacles, and it's kind of like where how we've gotten up to now. This is looking also maybe at the claims and wanting to make sure they're valid, enduring, but handling things carefully, delicately, enduringly. We get celebration and a Queen of Cups with a celebration. Hmm, I'm not quite sure who will be celebrating. Maybe this could be someone that holds him to account in this area where the insurance is. Maybe there's a woman that's on board with looking into that or being helpful. That's super interesting. Okay. I'm trying to time this so that I can have my telemed visit with my doctor. Okay. Here we have the fighting and the chaos and the cruelty and the kicking up a fuss, causing, kerfluffles, and the moon. Also, to me, this is shit disturbing, quote unquote. The dark element of the self that causes one to be so petulant and uh, extreme of like where you'd physically want something, where you go too far. There's also a struggle within the mind happening right now. And I think the substances might be affecting it and being counteracting each other like a bad combos. All right, I'm going to put this on pause because I have no idea how loud that yard trim is doing. All right. I have to do some more because here's the King of Wands and the Hierophant. Now, this to me is Elon and some kind of an authority. This to me could be like an insurance authority, maybe, especially if it's like I thought that someone's not going to just let some of this stuff slide where the vehicles are or stuff that he's connected to. And I think in particularly the vehicles, quite possibly, because that's what I was throwing cards on. But sometimes the cards will branch out into other things. Yeah, something is coming to temper Elon because he's too extreme, and it's an authority, and it's an older male-based authority. And I don't think it's going to be Trump because this extreme of this, I think, male patriarchal toxicity um, that is toxic for everyone um, needs to be balanced. Look at that. The angel is even saying, this big energy coming through here to balance out this extreme macho toxicness. And there is an authority that will confront him, I feel. Let's see who we get, maybe. Maybe. Um, Here's the luxury money, right? This is the nine of pentacles, the oligarchy lifestyle, and death, that there's going to be an end. And the fact that those oligarchs are causing so much death to the planet, death everywhere, endings that are not good and without care. It's just for their greed, but they are going to end themselves. So they might be laughing right now, but they'll cut their own throats, so to speak. And there's something that's coming to also end them. Yes, here's another ending card of the world. And Elon's part of that scene. So it will affect him as well. There's endings coming. The appropriate endings that they're earning. I've always seen this since I was a child, that these rich merchants would one day lose. And it goes back to the past. And it goes also to the most vulnerable and not caring. The eyes of the world are watching. The Page of Swords, investigation, looking into, sharing of news, messages. And it has to do with money, the Knight of Pentacles. This is slower moving money. So when I combine the Page of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, I'm thinking that they're going to start looking into his finances. And it could springboard from something like him being responsible or linked to something happening to those cars. Could be something like that. So we're given the message that these guys will write their own ending. It's a come.